Hello, College of the Desert. Wendy Ansley here, kinesiology professor at College of the Desert. So today we have a well-rounded flow today that is going to promote balance and some twists as well. When I develop this sequence, I often kind of write in my journal. It goes hand in hand. The flows that I create to you, I also cultivate some areas of to help guide our spirit. When I think about this just simple, well-rounded flow, it is to nourish the body, the mind, and the spirit. It should be both calming and energizing. What does it mean to you to nourish our spirit? We each have our own unique gifts. And taking time to take care of our overall well-being, our physical, our emotional, our mental health, right? It is about connecting to ourselves at a deeper level. It is the integration of our own unique inner being. That is what nourishing the spirit can mean, especially combining it with a yoga practice. We often say when we step on our yoga mat that we are awakening the inner true light that lies in each one of us. Yoga is a practice. It's more than a practice. It's more than just a philosophy. It is a practice. A practice of getting on our mat, working on who we are, and taking that with us off of our mat. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you today as we begin our practice. Coming towards the edge of the mat, Pada Bandha in both feet, we awaken those arches and we spread those toes. 2 quarter sun salutations. Inhale through the nose, draw those arms up. Exhale, we're gonna swan dive down into a little dynamic forward fold. Heel and toe, beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift, Arda Uttanasana, back is flat, gaze forward and down. Hands to the shins, thighs, or the ground. Exhale, come back into a forward fold. Let's get those hips over those ankles and the knees. Find the breath, inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently bend the knees. We're gonna swan dive up and we're gonna open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Inhale, draw those arms up, energy out those fingertips. Exhale, beautiful, swan dive down, another dynamic forward fold, heel and toe, heel and toe. Inhale, halfway lift, back is flat. Hands to the shins, thighs, or the ground. You can feel the tailbone come out and back. Exhale, come into a forward fold here. Hips over the ankles and the knees. Gently bend the knees. We're going to swan dive up, opening the chest and the heart, connecting to our inner spirit. Exhale, heart centered. Let's do 2 cleansing breaths together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. As we fold our hands, heart centered, I want you to simply lower your head to your fingertips. And just take a moment to reflect on yoga being a practice, igniting the true inner light that lies in you. Through our breath, our efforts, we can nourish this light, nourish our spirit, and let it shine. Gently look up. Let's continue with this practice today. Parshva Tadasana, Rooting with both feet, hips facing forward. Let's take the right hand outside of the left hip and the left hand outside of the right hip. And I want you to simply gaze over that left shoulder, drawing the chin in just slightly, but keeping both hips forward. Gently release. Having the left hand on the right hip here and the right hand on the left hip, a little parshva, that means a side mountain pose. Gaze over that right shoulder, gently drawing the chin in just slightly. Gently come back center here. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, swan dive down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, the thighs, or the ground. Beautiful. Framing the feet, we're going to step that right leg back, lowering the right knee to the ground. And we'll do 1 to 2 dynamics. Beautiful. Now we're going to inhale, draw those arms up. Let's clasp around the right wrist here. And I want you to shift over to the left here, opening that right side body. You can feel that release of the psoas. Beautiful. Which is around the right side of the pelvis, the right hip. Beautiful. Inhale, rise. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot, back leg is straight. Connect. Sweep that left leg high to a one-legged dog, but yet square those hips and connect to the back arch in the back leg. On the exhale, we're going to lower that left leg, come into Falakasana Plank. Active legs, shoulders, and active core, belly button to the spine, hips over the heels. Core stability. Gently lower to the knees. We're going to do knees, chest, and chin all at the ground at the same time, or as close as we can get to it. Ashtanga Pranam. Knees, chest, and chin. Gently send those legs back, feet are hip width apart. Press to the tops of the feet here. Shoulders in line with the elbows. We're simply awakening the lower back side of the body. Easy cobra. Transition, come to all fours. Lead with those hips, come into Adho Mukha down dog. Transition, draw the right knee to the chest and the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Lower the left knee to the ground. Hands to the hips. 1 to 2 dynamics. Inhale, draw those arms up. Clasp around the left wrist and feel that release in the left side body. Draw that left hip forward. Inhale, rise. Hands to those hips. Frame the foot. Connect. Draw that back leg forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Feel the tailbone come out and back. Exhale, come into a deep forward fold. Again, hips over the ankles and the knees, and breathe into that back side body. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart-centered. Parshva Tadasana again. Right hand's outside the left hip. Left hand outside the right hip, but keep both hips facing forward and gently gaze over that left shoulder, drawing the chin in just slightly. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently release. Left hand outside the right hip, right hand outside the left hip, and gaze over that right shoulder, a little side twist. Both hips facing forward, drawing the chin in just slightly and gazing over the right shoulder. Gently release as we continue to nourish our body, our mind, and our spirit. Inhale, draw those arms up. Energy out the fingertips. Exhale, we're going to swan dive down into a little forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, tailbone out and back. Hands can be the shins or the thighs. Framing the feet, this time we're going to step that left leg back into low lunge, lowering the left knee to the ground. Come up vertical. I want you to interlace those fingers, clasp those hands, and draw the shoulders towards one another. Now sink a little bit lower. Continue to draw the front hip back and back hip forward, and open the chest, open the heart. So good for the shoulders and the chest. Gently release, hands to the hips. Frame the foot, runner's pose, back leg is straight. As we press the palms into the ground, transition one-legged dog, draw that right leg up to hip height. Mindfully lower that right leg, come into Falakasana here. Push into the ground, lightly dome that upper back, and this is where we draw the belly button to the spine. Gently lower to the knees. Knees, chest, and chin. Ashtanga pranam. Beautiful. Gently send those legs back. Feet hip width apart. Easy cobra. Breathe into that backside, body gaze forward and down. On the exhale, lead with those hips. Come into Adho Mukha down dog. Press through those palms, draw length in the spine, spread those fingers. Root a little bit more in the index fingers, the second and the third fingers. Breathe into the backside body. Mindfully draw the left knee to the chest and the nose, round that upper back. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Come up higher, hands to the hips. Interlace those fingers. Draw those shoulders towards one another. Shoulder blades good. Now open the chest, open the heart. And continue to draw the front hip back, back hip forward. Beautiful low lunge. Anjaneyasana. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot. Connect. Back leg is straight. Draw that back foot up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Coming to the center of your mat. I'm going to grab my yoga blocks really quick because I forgot them and I'm going to use them later in my practice. I have become a writer, producer, a director. As a teacher here, putting on these videos for you all. Coming to the center of the mat here. Tadasana, standing strong, standing tall. Hands to the chest, elbows up. Add a hop. Belly button to the spine. Rotate those big toes in slightly. Prasarita stance. Hands to the lower back here. I want you to draw those elbows towards one another. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we come forward. The back is flat. Hands are under the shoulders here. Beautiful. Concave back. Beautiful. I'm going to mirror you here, so we're actually doing this together as we face each other here in the center of the mat. You're going to adjust. We're preparing for extended angle. We're kind of warming up. You're going to adjust your left foot, point it straight ahead. And the left elbow or shoulder is kind of the inside, and diagonally, I have the right hand here. I'm trying to keep that knee kind of over the ankle, and I'm pressing outer edge of this extended leg as I warm up and prepare. So it's just a preparatory posture for extended angle, Uttita Parshvakonasana. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently release, both feet facing forward. Hands under the shoulders. Let's adjust now this right foot. Point it towards the wall, and I'm going to draw that right elbow or shoulder inside, and this left hand is kind of diagonal, and I'm pressing outer edge of that extended leg. If I look at foot placement, it's probably heel to heel, possibly heel to arch. Beautiful. I'm just breathing into this opening here. Just preparatory posture. Gently, I'm going to transition and place the hands under the shoulders. Beautiful. I'm going to walk those hands back in line with those heels. And I'm going to imagine kind of pulling my head through and breathing into those hamstrings, the inner groins. Gently release, hands under the shoulders. Hands on the hips, back flat, root and rise. Adjusting this left foot. Knee over the ankle, heel to heel as we prepare Virabhadrasana 2. I want that left knee going towards that pinky toe. And find a little bit of a space here between the hip and between the torso and the leg here. Gaze over that left hand. Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to grow this pose, and this is where some of you might even take a block and place it on the inside. We're going to grow this pose as in the exhale, we're going to draw the left elbow or shoulder on the inside, and eventually take that top arm, draw that palm up, externally rotate the top arm, top ribs back, bottom ribs forward, rotate that torso. We're going to stay here several breaths. Beautiful, Uttita Parshvakonasana. Grow the pose from the back foot, through the hips, through the crown of the fingertips. Inhale, rise. Virabhadrasana 2. Come back into our Prasarita stance here. Cleansing breath, inhale. Exhale. Maybe kind of adjusting the block over here a bit. Facing that right foot towards the wall, drawing the knee towards that pinky toe. I'm going to adjust the block here. Virabhadrasana 2 here. Knee towards the pinky toe. Beautiful. Gazing over that right palm. And as I press outer edge of the back foot, I'm awakening that back inner thigh. The foot placement is heel to heel for most of us, possibly heel to arch. Virabhadrasana 2. Extended angle, drawing the right elbow or shoulder inside the right knee as I mirror you here. Eventually, we're going to externally rotate this top arm, armpit towards the ear, pinky towards the face, and leverage this rotation of the torso. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Grow the pose from the back foot, through the hips, through the crown of the head. And find the breath here. Inhale and rise, Virabhasana 2. I love it. Prasarita. I'm going to adjust this block here. Hands on the hips. Inhale, create length. Elbows towards one another. Exhale, swan dive down here. Both hands under the shoulders, concave back here in our Prasarita stance. Let's add a spinal twist. We're going to take the left hand, as I mirror you, under the face and draw that right arm up. Try to level that pelvis here. Taking that right hand to the crevice of the left hip. Gaze over that right shoulder. Only if we can. Maybe a majority of us are keeping the arm straight up. If we can, take the left hand now to the right ankle and try to leverage this incredible rotation. So good for the upper and the middle back. Gently release. Hands under the shoulders. Drawing the right hand down and the left arm up. Taking the left hand outside of the right hip and the right hand outside the left foot. Gazing over that left shoulder. Gently release. Hands under the shoulders. Belly button to the spine, hands on the hips. Inhale, root and rise. Proud of you guys. Heel, toe it in. Coming towards the top of our mat here, we're going to explore with some balance here. Ankles, knees, and shins are going to be together. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Again, ankles, knees, and shins together. Inhale, halfway lift. We have to gently bend the legs to get there. We can do that. We're going to relevate up. Ankles, knees, and shins are going to be together. We're going to close that gap between those heels. Tippy toe malasana. We're going to lower the hips towards the heels, but keep the ankles and knees and shins together. Awakening the intrinsic muscles of the feet, strengthening those toes. Many of us are going to stay here with the hands out in front. A few of us may challenge ourselves, and we're going to draw those hands back and draw the head towards the knees and reduce that gap between those heels. We're going to stay here several breaths. Now we're going to add another variation, a challenge for some of us. And some of us are just staying with our hands out in front. We're going to hover the hands, drawing the heels together, hover the hands, finding balance. Some of us, our hands are to the ground. And then another challenge is we're going to draw the shins forward, the thighs parallel to the ground, in this beautiful tippy toe squat here. Thighs parallel to the ground, torso long. Challenge yourself. Draw those heels together. Gently lower the hands to the ground. Heels to the ground as we find a little core awakening here. Boat pose. Beginners, right? We can keep the legs parallel, hands to the sides, wherever we are. Eventually, as we come to the back of the sitting bones, energy as we straighten those legs, we straighten those arms, energy out the toes, energy out those fingers. We're gonna stay here 10 breaths. Navasana, boat pose, yoga's signature core exercise to help strengthen those hip flexors. Gently release. Lower the heels towards the ground. As we're gonna explore Bakasana. Feet are together. Hands are shoulder width apart here. And feet are together, we're gonna widen those knees. And we're going to place them high under the triceps as we explore. And this is where some of us, Bakasana, may even take a block. And if that helps us, rest the forehead on the block, okay, wherever we are. But the heels, we draw the sternum and the chest forward. We use the core to lift the hips, and now we draw the heels towards the buttocks. Find your drishti and find your gaze. Gently release, lower the heels to the ground. Come into a forward fold here. Let's press the tops of the hands to the mat here. Awaken these wrists here a little bit more. Give ourselves some wrist relief between that Bakasana. Fingers towards one another and put a little bit of weight as we shift back and forth. And now fingers move away from one another as we shift back and forth. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up. Open the chest. Open the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Just gonna adjust my block. We're gonna explore, we're gonna keep exploring this. Challenging ourselves today. Let's practice this again, tippy toe malasana, into some toe squat variations. Cleansing breath, inhale. Exhale. Ankles, knees, and shins are together on this. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, swan dive down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands, shins, thighs, or the ground. Eventually, hands under the shoulders. This is where we releve up. Ankles, knees, and shins together. Gently lower the hips towards those heels. Heels over the balls of the feet. A lot of different variations. Some of us are just going to simply stay here. Eventually, some of us drawing those hands back, lowering the head towards the knees, breathing into this backside body. And eventually, some of us hovering those hands, drawing those heels together, and eventually drawing the shins forward. Thighs are parallel to the ground, and the torso is long. Beautiful toe squat Way to challenge yourselves. Draw those heels together. Shins and thighs parallel to the ground. Find your breath. Find your gaze. And eventually, let's draw those arms up, extending from the shoulders. Lowering the hands. Heels to the ground. I love it. Half boat pose. We're going to come onto our backs here. We're going to glue the lower back to the ground, arms by the sides, almost like rows here for the boat. And the feet are up about a foot. So shoulder and upper back off the ground. Lower back glued to the ground as we hold this boat pose. Draw the belly button to the spine, lower back glued. Upper back and shoulders off the ground. I like to kind of point my feet here. Connect to the core stability. This is challenging. Gently release. And maybe rock a little bit to come out. Bakasana. Again, let's experience crow. Feet together. Hands under the shoulders. Widen those knees. Place them high under the triceps here. And draw that sternum and chest forward. Heels towards the buttocks. Gaze forward and down. Gently lower those heels. Come into a forward fold wherever we are. Way to practice, guys. So proud of you. Tops of the hands down again. Shift the weight side to side. Fingers towards one another. Fingers move away. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Beautiful. Coming to Tadasana at the edge of the mat. Let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Way to nourish the body, the mind, and the spirit. Keep working on you. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Framing the feet, we're going to walk those legs back into Adho Mukha Down Dog. This is where I look at my hands sometimes. Middle finger is in line with the shoulders. The hands actually kind of rotate out maybe like an inch or so more than you would think, just a bit. We're spreading through those palms and the fingers, rooting a little bit more with the second and the third fingers. That's where that third finger is in line with the shoulders for the hand placement there. Breathing into the left side and the right side of the spine and the back and just the whole posterior chain. Belly button to spine, tailbone back and down, pubis bone back and up. Preparing for runner's lunge, drawing the left knee to the chest and the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand. We're going to come into this runner's pose. Engage the back leg is straight and firm that left hip. Coming onto the fingertips of that right arm. I want you to draw kind of towards that right pinky toe and draw that right hip forward and that left arm up. Belly button to the spine. We're in a little revolved here, runner's posture, shoulder over the shoulder, and feel that right hip rotating internally. Gently lower the right knee, the left palm is open, and we draw that right foot towards the heel several times. Eventually we clasp the arch. I mean, not that arch, but the outer edge of the foot. And we draw the heel towards the buttocks. It's okay to close those eyes here and feel the release of the quadricep. Gently release, frame the foot. Arda Anamanasana has splits. So the hips come back, we press through that left heel, and we draw that sternum and the chest forward. Half splits. We press through the left heel, beautiful. Good, we're awakening these hamstrings. This is where some of us might use a block, 2 blocks, to help us explore Anamanasana at a deeper level. We're going to draw that left heel. We keep the hips where they are, but we draw that left heel forward. Till eventually, some of us, I've got it in my practice where I can go a little bit deeper, right? This is a unique posture because we are doing 2 different things with the legs here, flexion and extension. Trying to lower a little bit lower, closer to the ground, and finding the breath. If for some reason we can get to the ground here, draw those arms up, create length in the spine. Listen to those birds singing. Perhaps use the breath and come down to another inch or 2. Find your breath. Mindfully, as we begin to explore coming out of this pose, hands at the hips, mindfully come to the ball of that back foot and draw that left heel back. Utilize the core here as we transition out of this posture, finding our down dog. Let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. The birds are singing for you guys. They're singing. Draw the right knee to the chest and the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Runner's pose on the right side here. Connect. Back leg is firm. Beautiful. Heel over the ball of the back foot. Left shoulder over the left fingertips. I want you to draw that right arm up. Belly button to the spine and come towards the pinky toe side of the back foot here. And feel that back hip rotating internally. Gently lowering the back knee to the ground and drawing the heel towards the buttocks. Eventually clasping the outer edge of the foot and drawing the heel towards the buttocks. It's okay to close those eyes. Transitioning to half split, we frame the foot, we send those hips back, the back knee is directly under that hip here. Arda Anamanasana here. We press through that right heel, and I want you to think about drawing the sternum and the chest forward and awakening those hamstrings. Beautiful. Blocks on either side here. We're going to explore these splits, drawing that right heel forward, Keeping these hips stationary. Beautiful. And try to come a little bit lower. Front hip back, back hip forward. Integrity. If you get the back leg to the ground, the knees straight back on the ground, and we're pressing through the tops of the foot as well. Use the breath, and I want you to kind of surrender and come another inch or two lower. Eventually, we draw those arms up. Wherever we are, integrity and form, just do you. Perhaps come another inch or two closer to the ground. Find the breath. Mindfully, as we come out of this pose, we come to the ball of the back foot. We press through that right heel. We engage our core as we transition and come out of this pose. Adho Mukha, down dog. Cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Firm those thighs. Breathe into any stiffness and any pain. Walk the hands and the legs together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Gently bend the knees. Swan dive up. Open the chest. Open that heart. Exhale, heart centered. Dancer's pose. This is beautiful and fun, and we're going to explore together. We're going to root through the four corners of the left foot. We're going to extend that left arm up. Draw the right elbow towards that right hip and come onto the ball of that right foot. Inhale, we create length. On the exhale, we clasp that inner arch and the knee comes towards one another and the heel towards the buttocks. Inhale, we're going to begin kicking up and lengthening. When we cannot kick up any higher is when we begin to draw. When we cannot kick up any higher with the leg and arm together, we draw the belly button a little more parallel to the ground. Strong kick. Gently lower, drawing the knee towards the other knee. Release, cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. I love it. Let's do dancer's pose again. Tadasana, rooting through the four corners of the right foot. Come onto the ball of the left foot. Extend that right arm up. Left elbow towards the left hip. Inhale, we create length. Begin to clasp that inner arch. And as we create length, that's beautiful, right? But when we begin to exhale, we kick up. Kick up. We kick and we use the kick and the arms to open the chest and open the heart. When we cannot kick any farther up is when we begin to draw the belly button parallel to the ground. Gently release, lower the leg to meet the other leg. Beautiful. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. What a beautiful, well-rounded practice today. We just did some standing back bends. We're going to come to the ground here and just neutralize the spine a bit. So the feet are about a foot away from the glutes here. The legs are together. And we're going to simply clasp those elbows underneath the knees here and draw the forehead to the knees and the chin to the chest. We're broadening the back here. We're decompressing a little bit. We're broadening the back here and giving ourselves a little relief from those back bends, the standing back bends. So just come into this chin towards the chest, clasping those elbows, forehead to the knees, and I just want you to broaden your back here. It just feels so nice. Stay here several breaths. Beautiful. Gently release. Come into Dandasana, seated staff pose. This is where we're going to take the left foot. It comes into plantar flexion, left heel outside of the left glute. We're going to draw the right heel towards the pubis bone and the right foot under the left thigh. Taking the left hand outside of the right knee and coming onto the right fingertips, adding a little seated twist, Arda Vajrasana, simple noose pose. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we gaze over that right shoulder. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, gaze over. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, gaze over. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, gaze over. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we gaze over. Gently release. Coming back to Dandasana. Drawing the right foot, plantar flexion outside of the right hip. Drawing the left heel near the pubis bone, left foot under the right thigh. Beautiful. Arda Vajrasana. Taking the right hand now outside the left knee and coming on to the fingertips of the left hand. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we gaze over that back shoulder. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we gaze over. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, we gaze over. 2 more breaths. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, gaze over. 1 more time. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, gaze over. Gently release. Beautiful job. Dandasana. Rooting through the sitting bones, drawing length in the spine. Coming into Paschimottanasana, a forward fold. I like to take a block sometimes to help me get my outer edges of my feet rotating back. It helps me also engage the front side of my body to release the back side of my body. Some of us have a hard time sitting up straight. We might slump a little bit, and sitting on a blanket, a towel, a small block can help us sit up nice and straight. Some of us might utilize the strap to help us come forward a bit. So if you have the strap, right around the midfoot. We're going to do this 2 times today. The first one will hold a little bit less, But rooting through both sitting bones. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, reach forward 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches. Staying here several breaths. Beautiful. Breathing into this release of the backside body. Exhale a little bit longer than the inhale in these deep release. Inhale and rise. Hands heart centered. Adjust ourselves. We're going to hold now a little bit longer. Rooting through both sitting bones. Inhale, we create length. Exhale, reach forward. Reach 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches farther. Breathe into that backside body. Exhale longer than the inhale. We're going to hold here 1 more minute. Inhale, root and rise. Back to Dandasana here. Beautiful. As we prepare for our Shavasana here today, what was a well-rounded flow today with our balance, our flexibility, our twists. And again, that's about nourishing our body, our minds, and our spirits. Each one of you is so unique. We each have our gifts. And that spirit, through our breath, our efforts, and postures, we can ignite that spirit, that inner light, which is a true message of yoga, to shine and to share the light. But it starts with nourishing the spirit. Let everything go as you find your Shavasana, and I want you to stay here as long as you need. Relax the palms, relax the feet, let everything go. Regenerate. Stay here 5, 10, however long you need, enjoying the fruits of the labors.